What's happening? I'm Isaiah Coleman. It is Masculinity Monday, and I am the curator of Connected, man. Super excited, man, that you decided to tune in and be a part of this conversation. I want to talk to you about a particular, I guess, like an experience maybe that a lot of men may go through with their friends. And I think it's a tricky one to navigate. I think it's tough, for real. I do. I think it's a tough experience to navigate when a male goes through this. And I've experienced this. I've experienced this situation before. I've been on both ends of the spectrum. I've been the receiver of this, and I've also been the initiator of this, right? So, and what that experience is that I'm talking about is, right, we as men, we have codes, right? We got things that we place value on, things that matter deeply to us or that we care about, things like trust, things like loyalty, things like just certain behaviors, right? As men, we all have those codes and boundaries in regard to that. But my question is, what do we do when a friend crosses that line or crosses that boundary or does something that we don't necessarily agree with, something that catches us off guard, you know what I mean? How do we navigate that, right? How do we navigate that? I think the first thing I want to say to that, the first aspect that I want to point out to that is, if you are considered to be a real friend to somebody, right? If you are considered to be a real friend to somebody, and that somebody considers you to be their real friend, or considers as well to be your real friend, right? Y'all both real friends. I think it's absolutely fine, and you should be absolutely comfortable sharing or receiving critique or feedback, constructive criticism or feedback. Because if we claim like, I only want the real, like I only want the real around me, I only need people who are going to be honest with me and be real with me. Being real with somebody isn't always just giving them positive feedback. Being real with somebody isn't always getting or receiving positive affirmation. It also needs to be constructive at times, and not always, again, it don't always need to be constructive criticism toward that person's character. Like, you ain't about to you can't just go and judge and come at somebody and tear them down and beat them down because you don't agree with their character. Like, it could have just been a decision that they made. It could have just been a particular behavior that they showed or something like that, right? And you just want to like address it. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with that. But you can't be nitpicky, right? You can't be nitpicky. But I bring this topic up, man, because again, I think it's a sticky topic. I've been on both ends of the spectrum. I remember having a friendship with somebody who I love to this day. And I went to give them some constructive feedback, and it didn't land right. I didn't empathize with them. I didn't come from a place of love. I didn't come from a place of like, I felt this way when this happened. Instead, I kind of just came at it pointing the finger and maybe even expected the worst, right? Or thought the worst in that moment. I don't know. You know, I was much younger when that situation occurred. But I want to say that, you know, you can't go into those moments, if you do ever have feedback that you want to give a peer, a friend, a best friend, a brother, you can't go into those moments judgmental, right? You got to go into those moments with that same love and think about the entire relationship, not just that moment, especially, again, if you consider them to be a real friend, right? I think you need to go about it with the intention that, you know, this may have just been a mistake. This may have just been an autonomous, you know, not autonomous, but is autonomous the word I'm looking for? This might have just been a out of ordinary experience or moment, right? Something that they may have just been ignorant to, and that's okay, and that happens. But I think most importantly, I think if we're a man and we're a man with values and we place values on certain things, I think you have every right to speak up and share. And I think as men, like if I was the one receiving that feedback, man, and I consider that person giving me that feedback my friend, I think it's perfectly fine that they do that. Like, make me better, you know what I mean? Like, make me into that man that you know I'm striving to be, you know what I'm saying? And every now and again, we do need to be called out, or we do need to be checked, and, you know, to get off that high horse and stop inflating that ego. Whatever it is, it's super, super important that we have people around us that are honest with us and who will tell us the truth, you know what I mean? And not bite their tongue and be like the groupies and the fans and the people out here who just want to hang around us and be on our coattails and blow our heads up, you know what I'm saying? So I say that to say, man, it's a tough topic, it's a tough thing, but I think as a man, I think it's what makes us tough, it's what makes us strong, is that feedback, you know, it's what makes us whole, it's what makes us connected, it's what makes us, you know, complete. So again, hey, this is Masculinity Monday. We're gonna have some tough topics on this bad boy. All right, man, I hope somebody can comment in the description or comment in the chat and, you know, throw some other topics in there. I got a bunch, but throw some other topics in there. All right, I'm Isaiah Coleman, and if you're into this, continue to like, continue to follow, and look for more. All right, peace out.